Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome to a high-level game of StarCraft 2 here on Winter's Madness as the snow is falling from the sky at a rapid pace, not just in-game, but also outside of my window. We have, whoa, Rainer and MaxPax. And I hear you say, Harstem, who did you pay good coin to obtain those replays, to obtain these beautiful games? And that is a secret that will be between me and Nicholas Flamel. So sucks to be you guys, but no replays for you. The only way to see these games is to watch me watch them. And that's what we're going to be doing over here. MaxPax versus Rainer. I'm very excited for this. MaxPax for a while had really weak Protoss versus Zerg. And when I say really weak Protoss versus Zerg, I'd say he was maybe the third best PvZ player in the world, but he would often lose to players that were outside of the top 3 or the top 5 of Zerg players, which for MaxPax is kind of freaking crazy. So here we're gonna take a look at see what MaxPax has improved, how has he changed up his style, and what is Rainer gonna be doing about that. Rainer is a player that, that is spicy. So before he put down a creep tumor with his main base queen, I was gonna say Rainer's a player that often does things his way. He's a little bit the Frank Sinatra of StarCraft 2, is what people always call him. He has his own little tricks, his own little shenanigans, and he's not necessarily someone that doesn't believe in the standard meta, but he is someone that looks at the standard meta as a vehicle to insert his own garbage into it. And we're kind of seeing that here with really fast creep tumors coming out into the main base. It's going to be a little bit... Ooh, that's also a fast tumor. That could get sniped here, absolutely. Let's take a look. Good spore. Very nice spore. Good boy, that spore, let me tell you. Okay, well done. So yeah, I'm really curious to see what is going to happen here, but we already see a strong focus here on creep tumors early on, rather than getting that first inject. Just went straight for the tumor in the main base. It's going to connect the main with the natural. It's going to connect the natural with the third. And probably just continue pushing forward. And this is kind of the Rainer that we know. Is adding in 6 more links as well. I don't know if these are safety links or links that say, hey, maybe I can do something to you. Maybe I can make one of your adepts weep a little bit. Make him cry like a little baby. Absolutely possible. As, drone's not gonna get sniped. You get full money back, by the way, if a cocoon gets cancelled. You get a high ground Evo chamber. No way. That is a really cute and interesting solution to the problem. Oh my god, I've never actually seen this before. This is... I don't know if this is on purpose or his drone is just stuck here, but let me quickly talk about this, because the game is just going to go into a standard shape. We see Forge Twilight Robotics Facility. It's going to be pretty freaking passive out of MaxPax, who is going to be the one that will be making the plays in the first 5.5 minutes. But, oh, this is really cute. So this is a quick Evo chamber on the high ground. One of the issues you often have as a Zerg player, when you take the third base, is that it's difficult to get buildings in this general wall, as we see Rainer still do it anyway. I guess he had a lot of creep, so it might not matter. Either way, I really like this idea that I have in my mind now, so I'm going to explain it either way. Whenever there's a glaive adept attack, it can be really tough to stop the adepts from going somewhere, and the way that people usually deal with this is by walling their natural off. However, if you take your natural base on your third, often your creep isn't quick enough to deal with very fast glaive adept attacks. And in that case, if you get this fast tumor from the main, getting the Evo chamber here or getting your tech structure here could be a cool way to kind of go about it. I'd never actually seen this before, this positioning. However, if you get a fast main base creep tumor, you probably also have creep tumors quick enough into your natural, so it might not even be necessary. So it's a problem that kind of solves itself, I guess, with the first fast tumor. We're also not seeing a glaive adept attack, so this entire story is completely pointless. But I saw something I hadn't seen before, and you know, that excites me. What can I say? I'm a man that loves the kneel, okay? A true StarCraft progressive, as they call me. Look at this. This is high-level Zerg stuff, you know? Just making sure that every prism that leaves is going to be spotted. Most of the time it's going to be this area, or it's going to go through the middle here. And really you're trying to create a lot of vision around the toss bases, knowing whenever a move out is going to happen. We have double Archons now going up in the natural. This was done off of a double Oracle build, so it means it's going to hit quite late. Not sure if the Overseer saw this, but the links are definitely going to spot it. And by seeing this prism, you probably know enough. Like, you know that there's going to be something in there. Most likely Archons. We instantly get an infestation pit. 2 Hydras on the way. And I'm expecting a full round of drones from here on out as well. So these Lings are going to try to go for it and get a warp in. But that seems, quite frankly, a little bit silly. He can try it again, but I would not recommend going for a warp in on creep. Oh my god, he's actually going to do it. That is freaking crazy. Charge has finished. +1 has finished as well. So we're actually going to commit into this. Stasis Ward in the mix here too. I mean, if Hydras weren't out, this actually could be pretty successful. But Hydras are out, and well, it could still be pretty successful. As Archons are putting in a lot of work. Zealots now pulling back, trying to make sure that the Archons have a kind of maximize their splash damage onto those Lings. Every single Zealot is going to end up falling. Behind this we have Immortals. We have Storm on the way. So the Zealots are gonna die. The trade itself was kind of okay. What's probably more important here is that you have the ability to trade minerals for really any type of Zerg unit. Because as a Protoss player, minerals tend to not do a whole lot for you. The only thing you can do with minerals is either build cannons or Zealots. Zealots tend to not be great in direct, big defensive fights. They're great at harassing, at run-bys. Like when the armies are split, Zealots become very strong. So if you can trade those out the entire time, then you actually have a decent mineral sink in the Zealot. So I really do like that. We're now getting a couple of extra cannons in the mix as well. We see 3 of them being built total. I don't know where the other one went. It's just behind the natural wall. Hive is over halfway done already as we get a second Evo Chamber, Lurker Den, and I think we're probably heading into what most people would consider a bit of a macro game. I am lacking my 5th base, or over here, or a 5th and a 6th, because Raynor feels like he's going pretty heavy into upgrades with the second Evo, with the Lurker Den, with the fast Hive, and I think 10 gas would be many things. But a luxury it wouldn't be. I think it might even be a necessity. I like the positioning of these Hydras here, by the way. Just waiting to snipe a Prism. MaxPack's usually good enough with the Prism movement to make sure that he doesn't lose it. And this time he's going to go to the north, so he doesn't even really need to worry about it whatsoever. A couple of Lurkers already coming out as we'll see what this Prism's actual plan is going to be in a couple of seconds from here. Moves into the natural of his opponent. So you get a major move out here. Just the entire army. Zealot run by at the same time. I'm not sure if this Templar is... Yeah, I was going to say. Templar with pure Zealot. That is a move that we don't see very frequently. Fleet Beacon on the way. No +3 has started yet. So usually you can kind of signal to your... to the audience or to your opponent what your plans are. And the moment we see a cut in upgrades, it probably means you want to heavily focus into a push a bit more, although money right now is available. Maybe he wants to save some of the cash for Mothership plus... Okay, yeah, triple Stargate. I'm expecting Mothership straight away. I'm also curious if we're going to see Tempest or Carriers here. Because I feel like Tempest would be the correct play, but I wouldn't even mind Carriers here either. As MaxPack's going to commit, I think he could have continued going there for a little while. Meanwhile, we also have a run-by over here. We have a little drop. Well, little drop. We had at least a Prism going into the main base. So this is all died. Prism is still around. Can you actually stabilize in the left top corner? I think you might be capable of doing that. What's our lurker count? 14. 6 of them over here on the left. So it leaves 8 over here, somewhere in the middle. Lynx now making their way across with Adrenal Glands, by the way. Yeah, without Storms, without Archons nearby, this could be scary, but that Storm is going to help out massively. Once again, we have a bit of a move forward here. Immortal count looking very healthy. Here comes a surround. Ooh. From 3 angles, Raynor wants to engage into this, but the Stasis Wards make sure a safe retreat is going to be viable for MaxPack. Good foresight, having kind of these flanking stasis, or these stasis on the flanks, making sure that the Lynx can't get there. Army is caught in between a rock and a hard place. He's going to recall back home, which is very understandable. Big Zealot run-by coming in. He had vision of that move out, and he wants to force Raynor back home. Don't forget, Raynor is kind of all in with this, because he's still only on 8 gases, and he's fighting against 8 gases. First 2 Tempest are out. Mothership not on the way quite yet. Storm is going to connect with a couple of these Lynx, actually deal a decent amount of damage as well. The 5th base has gone down. I think this hatchery is ill-positioned. Okay, that's better. Still looks far away, but I think it's just correct. Single Archon run by. That's the Archon that didn't get caught by the by the recall. A little bit unfortunate, but it is the way of the world sometimes. 7 more Lurkers on the way, so it's going to go up to 18. First 3 Tempest are out, however. And I am now starting to struggle. Struggle to see how Raynor is actually going to break this setup. Because it just doesn't seem so clear to me. How is he gonna... How is he gonna do this? I don't get it. Nydus network comes up. Get a stasis in here, no. Revelation, yes. How many do we have here? We have 7 Immortals, 2 Archons, and a bunch of Templar. Raynor thinks he can set up shop over here. I tend to agree with him. At the same time, we have a fight on the top right. This is not an army that is well fortified. This is an army that consists of mainly just Tempest. One of them is going to end up going down. I think there's plenty of Tempest, though, to continue fighting here. And actually, I think Raynor is the one that needs to leave, yeah. Raynor absolutely is the one that needs to leave. So, resource lost in favor of max packs. I'd say the base count is actually in favor of max packs as well, despite it being pretty much even, and there actually being a 5th on the way. This Nydus is probably gonna go up, actually, now that I see it. We have a couple of Zealots that are coming around. Tempest comes home as well to deal with this. We have 5, 6, 7, 8, 6. 6 Lurkers in here. A couple of Queens now popping out as well. Save the Nydus. That is a cute move. And all of a sudden, this is starting to get a lot more exciting. It felt like Raynor needed to do something, and then he did something. So you could say that he fulfilled his destiny. A couple of zoning storms coming out as well. Let's take a first-person look here of max packs. He sends the Tempest back home to deal with this. Queens, of course, no match to these Tempest. A couple of Templar in there as well. Lurkers taking out Archons at a fairly high pace. Corruptor's not on the way quite yet. Max packs kind of moving awkwardly here with these Tempest. This Immortal army, though, probably wanting to take out that 5th base. Needs to be very careful with this, because there's really not a lot of padding to this army. We have a single Archon that can deal with Lynx, but the rest is just going to be Storm Immortal. He's kind of running through his own storms over here. Main base still on their heavy siege as well. Supply still looking decent. We get a full-on recall, 2 Immortals, and 3-4 Templar end up falling down. Lurkers manage to escape into the Nydus worm. The hatchery is up. Isn't mining gas quite yet. I really think the only thing that Raynor has done wrong so far this game is not getting a 5th secured a lot faster. It has really been a significant blunder out of his. I really do believe that. As we get a new Nydus up into the main base, a couple of Changelings are just standing around. Huge supply block for Max, by the way. As the Archons now are going to move back in. Zealot gets warped in. So look at that! Beautiful little Changeling maneuver. Might actually give enough time for this Nydus to finish up. Sadly, there's nothing in there. Extra gases need to be taken like years ago. Like extra gas, I think at this point the 6th base. We have a couple of spines here. I think 2, 3 spines, or like 2 spines and a Lurker is going to be good enough to keep all of this safe. We have a Changeling that's now keeping an eye on this general path as well, which I'm a huge fan of. Actually, I'm a huge fan of that. Another thing you can do in the late game, by the way, is once you have Overlord speed, is just put an Overlord here. Put like an Overlord here. You can even have them pretty far back. It's just hard for run-bys to kill them, because run-bys usually just consist of Zealots. And just being spotted the entire time is extremely frustrating. This is going to be a big attack here. So 1 Immortal is going to go down. 2nd Immortal taking a bit of a beating as well. Storm's not necessarily connecting with this army. Corruptor count is phenomenal as well. Raynor is wanting to do some killing. And so far he's actually doing quite a bit of killing. Corruptors dive in. Are going to get the clear here, I think, on the Mothership. Hell yeah, they are. So Mothership goes down. Tempest will stay alive, though. So the wall gets pretty much smashed. 190 supply against 147. Still a lot of cash in the bank for max packs. Really a lot of cash in the bank. Gas is still not being mined on these bases. And we see that the lacking resource here really is the Vespene gas for our Italian Zerg. This has been a fantastic game so far, though. I have to admit. Some really high-level gameplay. The Tempest count continues to rise. I think these Corruptors are making a mistake. I think sending the Lynx back home might also be a mistake. It's understandable to deal with this, but we had an open natural base here right now, and we can kill so many workers. Corruptors once again going in. Not sure if that was on purpose or an accidental fly-in. Main base is gonna get cleared right now. But 15, 16 drones have gone down. I think that is actually a pretty significant issue. MaxSpec still is mining from a decent gas count. He's going to have to rebuild his Nexus. He's adding some carriers into the mix. And let's take a look. What are we actually at with these Corruptors? Okay, we have 15 Corruptors. I think that number needs to grow. Like, actually needs to grow big time. I'm thinking 22, 23, 24, 25. We're going to get a Viper as well, which I think is good. Upgrades are starting to look better and better here for Raynor as well. Oh yeah, not having spines. Like, this is why I always say just having 1 or 2 spines on these outside bases is so key. Like, it really helps. Also securing your own reinforcement lines, right? If 2 bases can't be touched, then it means these reinforcements are free to go wherever they want to. So another Ling run by comes in. MaxSpec is not going to be in time to deal with this. We have a good split up. I hope he's going to the main base. They do. Good rerouting instantly. It's the mark of a high-level player. He sees the cannons, and rather than just dying into the cannons, he sends them away. Very high speed. It's currently average APM of 600 against 326. Of course, for Zergs, that APM is a little bit inflated due to the high repeat rates that they work with when building units. So you often see it spike to unrealistic numbers that aren't really there. Kind of making the Zerg APM, well, not kind of, just making the Zerg APM a much less useful metric to judge people's speed by. I still feel like it's pretty accurate though for Protoss players and Terran players. Max at 324, which is a decent number. I've seen Clem often go to like the high 300s, low 400s. And with Terran, there's really no way to inflate that. Like, that's the level of speed that we're talking about. Okay, we have 33 workers to 72. We have 6 gas mining though, which actually is a pretty big deal. We have an air army that is strong, really strong. And on top of that, also big. And they often say that size doesn't matter. You know, it's the quality of the army. Well, the quality of the army is also better, okay? This thing has both freaking size and quality. How did he see that? How did he see that? I like what Raynor is doing here. He's just looking for pickups, but it's going to be tough to find those pickups. You have only 19 Corruptors, and I say only 19. I mean, it's a lot of Corruptors, but I just don't think it's enough. Oh, probably could have picked up that Oracle somehow, some way. Now he's got a full Revelation on top of him. Lings are trying to move around into this third, or yeah, I guess this is a third base now. Archon is not going to get attacked. He really wanted to, but decided against it. Lings are just kind of looking for anything to kill. And this army is fierce as hell. I wonder if a full-on base trade would be worthwhile. It is, of course, tough to make that type of decision, but the spore count here is pathetic. I just don't think we have enough Corruptors. This is one of the things that I really do feel like is important to always keep in the back of your head, that if you can't win a fight, a base trade is always an option that you could go for. Like that, it is always the case. Like, you can just base trade if you want to. But this is just not good enough. And he also stays too close, so the Oracle can keep refreshing the Revelation on top of this army. Something you can do as a Zerg is to move your Corruptor Viper back, so that the Revelation wears off eventually. Because you don't want this army, you know, you don't want your opponent to have vision of this portion of your army. This is the worst thing that can happen. Okay, we're gonna get a Lurker Ling counterattack. I think this is 100% the correct call, by the way. I think this is such a fantastic play. I just can't imagine anything else being better than this. Army here is gonna get spotted. Raynor sometimes moves his Lings like a bit of an AI. Like, very small groups of Lings doing different tasks. Almost as if nothing is hotkey. Like, he's such a flowy way of playing. It's really, really neat to watch. But he still needs to deal with this threat. I would love to see some more spores. But then maybe he can't rebuild as easily on Corruptors. I guess he wants to get rid of some of these Lings as well. So this is as much a counterattack as it is getting rid of Lings to create a better army. But then he's reproducing quite a few Lings. I think all of this supply should be going into Corruptors right now. It is the only right call. Ultras. Immortal count of 4. So the rule usually is 1 immortal per Ultra. And honestly, that's kind of what MaxSpec already has. Maybe get rid of some more Lurkers to create more Corruptors then. Because Ultras and Lurkers have a very similar task, is dealing with the ground. I think Ultras are a bit better at it when you're trying to move into a position. And Lurkers are slightly better at holding positions. But having both of them here when the real threat is in the Air Force is a tough sell to me, to be honest. It really is not a... It's not something I really believe in, unless he plans to use the Ultras as a counter-attack mechanism, which would be allowed, but then again you already have 7 lurkers for that. I'm very curious why the call didn't go into the Corruptor direction. Because to me it seems clear as day that is where the real threat is. And I absolutely do believe you need an anti-ground force as well, don't get me wrong. I don't think you can just have 500 Corruptors and win this, because there are Archons, there are Templar, there are some Immortals, but without killing the air, you can never kill those, I think. Because the Tempest will pick away from a distance. And there's no pressure on mech specs to move now, by the way. There's actually 0 pressure on mech specs to move. Because the army of his opponent just kind of sucks. We're going to get Neural Parasite in as well. 4 Immortals against 6 Ultras, I think is going to be good enough. One Overseer there is going to get sniped. Here we go. Okay, he knows exactly where this is. That is so impressive. Dude, he has a very good game sense. Here we go with the attack. A couple of fungals coming in from the back. Can we hit them? That is one fungal that hits big time. Parasitic Bomb is being cast as well. Corruptors flying in. The ground army gets pretty much decimated here. The problem is just going to be these air units. There's so many carries. Look at that. 5 Ultras survive. Fantastic news for the Ultras. You know, they go celebrate on the other side of the map by killing some unprotected worker. Hell yeah, baby. That's the way we like to do it. Let's go kill some peasants. But it's not what's happening here. Like, this game is... Ooh, this is a strong army as well. This army wasn't even in the fight. It's kind of like a split off. A rogue group of Archon, Zealots and Templar. Murdering drones. Hell yeah. Okay. 5 Ultras just kind of aimlessly wandering around. There's really not that much to kill. Like, this base is hardly mining. So you've just invested in a very expensive harassment force that has no one to harass. Ay, ay, ay. Poor Ultras. He's like putting Harvey Weinstein into an all-male sauna. What's he gonna do? Freaking nothing. Absolutely mental. They just don't have a target. So you're just kind of roaming around aimlessly. Like maybe going to the Turkish steam bath. Is that what I'm supposed to do here? What the hell? 5 Tempest, 6 Carriers, 1 Mothership, 6 Archons and 10 Zealots. 11 Corruptor. The problem with Corruptor counts is often that you have a single chance of beating your opponent. Because if you lose the first fight, and you lose all your Corruptors and your opponent still has an air army, you just can't reproduce well enough. It just tends to not be possible. I like this Ling run by, don't get me wrong. Ling run by into the 3rd as well. Here comes the... I mean, this is just not going to be possible. There's just too little stuff, I think. It's going to get 1 Tempest. That was nice, actually. Dude, that was crazy nice. Such a good snipe. Immortal count is at 0, so the Ultras are going to be kind of okay. The problem is there's so much damage output as well out of these Tempests. We're going to get a pure fly-in. Parasitic Bomb gets cast. A single G gets sent out. And Max Specs is going to be winning this game here on Winter Madness after 24 minutes and 51 seconds.